Good afternoon. Ito, I'm wearing mask. So, tawag nito, what I call it. I remove my mask to continue our Chapter 2, page 3. Page 3 na tayo. Page 3 pa lang tayo. So, mahaba-haba pang kwentuhan. It's, and if how can I make it shorter of the pages, maybe soon we can make it easier to tell all of this story. So as I said, for this on the second page, so we arrived at my grandmother's house, and then my mother told us to relax first, sleep, and to greet my lolas, grandmother's my lola. So we just sleep a little. When I woke up, since we sleep there and living in the hallway because we don't have room, sleep together there. We four, IP4 child was sleeping there. Children pa naman at the time. So as I woke up, the main door that I told earlier is open, and then I check around the house as I see the phone, and then I go down to the stairs and walk around. What's there? I saw they got turtle, they got duck, they got pig, dog, cat, and also what is that? A livelihood animals. It's a domestic animals, and there was also plenty of domestic animals was taking good care. And I'm stand corrected. The youngest of the mama, my mother's sister is Prema, not Shana. She was the one who was still studying in college, or when we were there. She's studying in Tagbilaran City. She was there if she don't have classes. So that time I meet her. So then telling me stories and what's happening, and then as I check the house, the house of my grandmother's house is so big, and then under the coconut tree plantation where they used to get some coconut wine there. So there I see there's lots of bamboo sticks that they used to to put it to make sahod the coconut wine in the what is that, the drippings of the coconut wines, the feel of that. And then there was a lot of fruits, as I said, and the house is big. And across the rice field at the right side, we're facing the rising sun, and there is the school, our elementary school. We saw elementary school is very close. I think it's a minute to walk, and then we hear the bells ringing. So the bell, and that house, that school, the elementary school, is made of wood. It's not concrete. This is made of wood, and also it's not concrete before. And when the bell was ring, we heard it. They used to use the bell. That's bombshells in Second World War. That's when they use it. They hang it on the sides of the room, in the schoolrooms, so. And then I checked. Then the back of their house there is a lot of duck. Yeah, there's lots of duck and bakery, and then also they got plenty of chickens. Yes, the poultry, a little poultry. We have also a little poultry. I saw it. And then, and I saw my mother's brother, the Pintong into Inshok, was climbing the tree to get some coconut wine, so coconut juice. Okay, so. And then my mother's, when it's almost at night now, I think times is almost 6 o'clock. My mother is calling me to go home, to go up, and then because we have to pray the rosary. Okay, because my grandmother was always praying rosary at 6 o'clock in the evening. That is their practice. Okay, so that is the time that I learned how to pray rosary. And then after we pray the rosary, we eat our dinner, and chat a little, and then they told me how to. My mother told me to help with Auntie Shana to clean the house, and anything they command me is I have to obey for her. So I just said, okay, oh, for that is a routine. Yeah. And then we eat our dinner at the long table. Then we use the plates, like the certain plates. We're not using those nice plates in the platera. We're not using it. So then we go to sardine into the tambo. We use that. And then after that, as I said, we sleep na in the hallway, the front of the two big rooms, my grandmother's rooms and then Shana's room. And then this is the area. We use some mat, they call it baliw, yung the big, the thick, just baliw. It's just made of baliw or the romblon, something like that. And then they use it. So we sleep just asleep after, and then that house is the people just woke up very early. That's why since we are there at the hallway, so the old people waking up early, they pass by us, so we also waking up early. We cannot sleep longer, except as my brothers and sisters, it's too young, brothers still a baby, especially the four of us is still a baby. I think it was 1 year to 2 at the time, so she's just asleep. And so, as my mother says in the morning, she showed me how to go clean the house. It will help Auntie Shana to do that. So, and also Auntie Shana teach me how to sweep the floor, how to scrub the floor to make it shiny, scrub it with the tissue. So I'm happy for that because I learned lots of things from her. So from time to time, and also the outsides, we sweep that we use the bamboo sticks to sweep the floor. The broom, bamboo stick broom, we use it to, I mean, the backyard, and also especially the garden. I'm very happy to help her, and then also fetch water to water those gardens in the past because they don't have, they're gonna have to fetch water from the wheel. So to balloon, then the balloon is the call it, there is a tabo to pitch the water, and then there is a roller to pull it up so we can get it. So helping her is I'm glad and happy the time. The at the afternoon, help us also in the kitchen, so what we cook for our lunch, and then my mother also the second days of my days there is I'm not happy, but I'm still miss the house of my lolo on our still place. So because he loves me so much, so I always thinking about it. Then the time from day to day in our life is I learned lots of things until the enrollment was going on. I think the times I'm in grade 4, so I was in grade 4 there, or grade, I'm not forgot. So I had to enroll, so I'm happy. The notebook that they bought for me is only one, and then also my sister's only one, and then the pencil. That's how we used to do our NORBS classes at the time. So before we have to go to the school early in the morning, we really clean ourselves alone. So I also help my sisters to clean the IP2. My sisters is to clean herself also, and we go together in the school because across of the rice field. This is school at the back of the school, yard, backyard of the school. So we enter the schools at the back gate. Also, we're just quite happy for that. Since we're schooling, after the school, we have a baon or a lunch. And our baon the time is rice with dry fish. Sometimes it's salted fish. We say, sometimes we just used to bring our lunch is kamote, may kamuting kasaba, and banana, and then that's how we do our life there. Then at night, and when I got home at the afternoon, my grandmother Lola was always checking us if they heard the bell that's going out at the afternoon, where there is a bell was a sounds to go home now at the 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So since the school was very close to their house, their residence, she just expecting that we arrive as earlier. So always checking that one. And then after when we get home, change our clothes a little, and then which water. Me, as I said, my task for that is to pitch drinking water. I bring it there up to the second and to the dining at the second floor, because there is a parang banggera, and then they stop part of the waters to as a drinking water. I put it there gallon to gallon. It's almost 20 the little gallons to fill it up, to fill it full the water. So they call it banga, and then to make it the water cool, we start drinking. So that's what my task. If I didn't do it in the morning, I do it in the evening, of course, the afternoon. And then so my grandmother told me, and also my mother, you should go home early because you have a task, both of you. So in the morning, and since they are waking up to us, Roger wake up and then help us in the morning. My task is, if the water was full, drinking in the balloon is, I mean the banga is full, so I help my Auntie Shana to sweep the floor and scrub it to make it shiny, to do floor wax it, and then until that's early, and then when I get maybe at 5, grade 5, or 8, 9, 10, 11 to 12 years old. Okay, so my uncle, si Uncle Inshuk and Uncle Chupintong, they teach me how to climb the coconut tree to get some coconut juice. I'm very happy, and then sometimes I'm climbing the trees, and then even that, but my uncles doesn't make me angry for that, because I just drink only for me. It's very sweet, very sweet. Early in the morning is very sweet. But when my grandmother was know what I do that, oh God, she's terrifying anger for me not to do that, because that is the used to their sustainable day-to-day source of income for them to even to Inshok and Chupintong, her siblings, they paying on it. They paying to my grandmother to have it. So from every week they get it. So until I know the clean house, how to wash dishes. I know also that the time to time I know now how to cook rice and how to peel some cassava, how to go. I never go somewhere in a farm. And then at night, the one scary moment that I have to, since my mother was in there in the barangay area, or the barangay proper, taking good care of the sari-sari store. At evening, my grandmother's told me to bring my mother's food, dinner food. But even the time at 6 o'clock already, or 5 o'clock in the noon there, the place is very dark. I'm walking, since I know how to pray, because I'm very scared in my age. I'm walking, starting rosary, starting prayer, and under the big trees, buri, like that, until the reaches it looks like a forest, like that. It's scary, because in the time that's 6 o'clock in the evening, that's something like the noon, afternoon. The grasshoppers was sounding na, so scary, and then it's so dark. So sometimes, and then my mother told me to go home, because there is also what is that, lots of works to help them. I'm crying a lot. Oh, I have to go home, and then dark. So even if I have to tell my mother that, please, I want to go home with you, because I'm scared away to go home. But my mother said, you should go home, or else your grandmothers will get angry. Lola was get angry. So I have to go home, and I cry a lot. When I cry, I pray the rosary, and I pray Our Father, everything. So since I'm walking, because it's scared. Even if a little dark now, so I'm scared at the time, because I'm still young at the time. Okay, so what's grade 5? Grade 5 is it? I'm 10 or 11, something like that. This is 7, and 7, 8, 9, 10, see, 11 to 12. And I'm a little boy, and I'm not big, so I'm just a little boy. So I have to go home, and then after we arrive, because we're rosary, so that's why we have to go home faster, so we can pray the rosary. So until from time to time, I know how to pray the rosary. I lead also the rosary, also my brothers and sisters, also my siblings. I know how to pray the rosary. They got also a work like making a hut. I learned also how to make a hat there. They put a part of the hat, the finishing line, the PO, the liston, like that. That's the name, the light tie, until I know more, until I know a hat. Then also I help them to cook some cassava. They call it poto. They used to put some. We scratch the poto. We make it need like that. So I do it, and sometimes all of my fingers will get hurt for that one. And then I used to that, and then after that I bring it to the store to sell it. Okay, especially if Saturday, Sunday, we have to do that always. Saturday, Sunday, especially if there is because the store of my mother at the time is closer to the church, so that is very sellable. The time they call it poto. So I learn a lots of things until besides that, I taking good care also to my brothers and sisters, because my grandmother is always laying down in his swing, the duyan, the big duyan. Is made of Hawaii or rattan. She's always laying down and sleeping, and just praying. As I said, her room is big. There's lots of santo, like that. So it's scary. Stay there alone. No, you cannot, you cannot sitting down there as long as if you're alone. One time, as I remember, many other things to do, it's just like that. If I get mistake, right, especially if I'm get late from school or going home from school, she gonna make us follow, this punish by counting or hit us as in end of coconut leaves. That's kiwi they could also, sometimes it's a banana branch of banana, branch of guava. So he hit us, and then he count. If you made one mistake, that's one, and then the second count is to until it's to reach to 25. That's we call it binakid, ang kanyang punishment. That's how she is. And so I accept that sometimes I get mistakes, especially I'm still I used to have play. I used to like to play, and of course sometimes I late going home, because especially in the rainy season there is a lot of fish at the as a rice field that we go through. That's why sometimes me and my sisters were catching those fish, and then when we get home, oh my god, she's very angry to us. She get mad and then follow again, and then she's like that way. And she tell us to kneel down and pray the rosary when habang pinapalo kami. Tapos she counted one, and then if I get mistakes, especially plenty, that's the always practice that she got for us. Okay, even if I telling you, more of my cousins that living there experience that one, like not to mention, but maybe I show you, but they are the witness what she is before, but peace be upon her. Maybe that's a part of her discipline for us, but maybe because she's not I don't know what she's feeling, but for me I conclude that's because I'm Auristila and I'm siblings of that she don't like my father. So one time I fill up some waters to give up to bring up there to put the kabanga. My auntie Shana was going down because I know how to make shortcuts, so I go past I go the way underground there at the second floor, where there is a lot of what is this bodega of the rice and the bilangko. I used to go there, so make it easier for me to reach the top of the, because if I have to go there at the front by the garden, it's so far to reach top of the second floor of their house. But Auntie Shana is going down bringing the hot water. I didn't expect that. I crossed to her, then my back was filled of hot waters, and we passed or burned my back with the hot water. Instead of they taking good care of me, and then she just have to pity on me. No, she did not have pity on me. She called me and again make palo. And it's because why I have to go there, that there is a way go at the front area or the stairs, the front area that the way to. And then sometimes if I have to go that way in the front and then the main door, the water also was the sometimes mga tulo-tulo. I have to clean it again. So, but it's okay. I burn my shoulder. Even now, I have a burn my shoulders. When I grow up, when I grow to be older, the shoulder burn of my shoulder is not so visible. So I cry a lot. At that time, as I said, what's just happening to her? Why is she like that? So it's always thinking that why is she like that? And then if I had to tell my mama, was my mother was there at the main the barangay proper was as I said earlier that she's a sales lady of the sari-sari store. My mother was ignoring me. She's sometimes I think she's but I know she's sometimes I tell her, Mama, there is my mga I have a mark of this plenty of my body, but my mother tell me you put something. Maybe just because you've done mistakes, it's like that. I never experienced that kind of experience on my grandfather's side because our still side. That's why I still deep in my heart is always crying a lot. I'm so sad. So this is the way. But my mother always telling me every night when we go sleep, telling me that it's okay. You just when you just study hard. Then so you like your auntie Prima, you can go and get this. So I really study hard. Me and my sisters we study hard also. I reached grade 5 or grade 6 where I'm still in the honor roll. Maybe yes, I'm not a first honor for the time, but I never go at the top 4. Always 1, 2, and 3, and 4. That's why I used to. And then we just studying our lessons by using the lampara, the lighted candle. The ilaw, what is it called, the gas lamp, like that way. So even that gas lamp, my grandmother told me that's not to use it because the time is hard to buy and then expensive. You know what we're gonna have to use? We're gonna have to early in the morning. You should wake up early in the morning before because the if it dawn already already bright in the morning. So you should study your lessons in the morning before you have to clean the house, sweep the floor. That is my task, my God. And then until I learn how to go to sometimes with my uncle Inshuk and uncle Pintong to go to the farm. I learned how to little plant rice like that and going to harvest the rice, and that's little by little I learned it, but not just so much harder than one. So I'm happy because even in my young age at the time, I learned lots of things. So at the time I get a little scared to my grandmother. So in the morning it's hard for me to make bless to her because I'm scared because she's just always her voice is very loud. When she just and then she's using whistle also. She got whistle to call anyone of us, and if she talking because their house, even you're there at the top when she's shouting your name, you know it, that's her. She's calling you. So that she is. I feel the times if in my age now, because I don't know the story of Cinderella or something like that, we experience that kind of. So the kamote, the 1 sack to 2 sacks of kamote, I clean it. Always, especially on Saturday, Sunday when we do not have work. There is a kamote, harvest kamote, kasaba and kamote, sack by sack. My hand was almost the nails can't grow. The time when I just a kid, like in that age, because I cleaned those kamote and kasaba there in the wheel using by the hand to make that they chop it and they dried it in the sun to cook it right after if this the hard time for them, tinawag gutom. So they have always like that. And then also they sell it in the market. Let's call it binangkong. We used to do that also. I learned it from that time when I was grade 5 and grade after that. I'm happy because I learned lots of things and my mother's mentoring me, and then I just tell my mother's, Mama, I know how to do this. Mama, my mother was happy. But if I tell my mother that, Mama, my Lola was hit my ears, hit my this one. If I have a mark of his, the other sides, not yet healed, there is another one in my other sides. They make korot. Sometimes if he just always, even a single things, even a single, like right, for example, you pitch water and then the floor was, there is because of the gallon, you don't have to fill the gallon so plenty, because the waters make drop the droplets of the floor, and the floor is very shiny. If there is, she said, you're not taking it careful, so you make korot in my sides. That heal, not yet heal enough. The other day, there's another one in my other sides. That's how she is. So anyway, that experience that I have, I grow until I grade 5. That she says. Sometimes I have my duck. Okay, I taking good care of a duck for my mother giving me. You take good care of that duck. When you grow it and you raise a sisil, you're gonna sell it. You're gonna sell it for you. You know, I'm just happy because that duck is for me. I think they have a duck, or they come to 3 or 4, but no, she doesn't give me to that. She doesn't give me any money for that. She slaughtered it and cooked it. So even if I cried, of course, and I tell my mother, why? You said I gotta take good care of those duck and chickens. Also, there is a chicken, but she doesn't give me. Then she always telling us, you stay in a house. What is here, what you see is you're gonna have to eat it for us, not for you. So I'd always telling my mother, why we don't have to separate my mama, why we don't have to go somewhere to live as alone. We are just big, sabi ko. I can help you, and tell my mother. But my mother said, we cannot go because we don't have a house. The house that we have is already sale, and then we don't have money because the money of your father is almost gone now, and then our house is very old, so we cannot go back there. So if we have tiyaga na lang, sabi, or you should be patient. And she says, every night, and then I'll cry a lot, start thinking. Sometimes I have to go out at the afternoon, the sunset, and then cold. I saw the cemetery, and then my tears fell down. Times since I'm looking at Papa, I said always, I'm praying, Papa, I hope that you're there and you see me what's happening to us. Like that. That I always praying, and then looking the grave of my father, because it's here ahead of us. That is my comfort. Sometimes I go in the acacia tree, as I told you, there is a big acacia tree. I climb it there. If he make me follow, let's just go there and take a fresh air, and then crying. Sometimes I fell asleep there, and because of I'm watching the cemetery to talk my father. It's just our work always, until I know how to make giling, the mais, also the corn, that's I told you, there is a milling of the corn miller, manual corn miller. That's good. Maybe it's a proper explanation, so that a big stone, that you cannot embrace it. The 2 stone, there's a stone at the bottom and so at the top, and the top stone is a hole in the middle. You put the corn there, and then you push it to turn it around. From when I guess got there earlier, I cannot push it. But since I grow a little big and I can reach the handle, so I know, that's a third. I'm just happy at the first time that I know how to make it, and then I turn it. I'm very happy. Until I know it, until I learn it. And then my sisters also know it, how to put some corn, and I be the one to turn it. So also my sisters also knows, even single by little, I know she's hard to do. So she feel hard for that. Even this, she's very younger from, she's younger than me, but she helped me. I know she pity on me. I know the time. Sometimes if I just wash the dishes, then she helped me. And then she helped me a lot. So until I grade 5, I circumcised na. Nagpatuli na ako that time. Grade 5 ako natuli. My mother says implications of grade 5. Just I'm like, I cannot forget. So my mother said, oh, sige, patuli ka na. You big na. You so. So I go alone. I go alone. So I go to the river with those friends of mine. And then they got to some my uncles accompany with me there. So I forgot it who accompany with me. And then when I get home, arrive, no one will gonna have to take good care on my private part, because they're all girls. They said if the girls were looking at that, my private part was circumcised, it will be also dangerous. So I was not taking good care in it. I get a fever. How many days? Even if I have that, she commanded me to clean the house. She doesn't look it. It's hard for me to walk because of my private part is getting worse. It's swelling. Sometimes it gets blood. She saw it. Sometimes in my shoulder is the blood, but she's telling me to clean the house, to scrub the floor. Also, Auntie Shana doing that way. So, I always cry a lot, but I know that we should do that because we don't have another house to live. Okay, so until next videos, chapter 4, I will gonna tell you what's next. Okay, so we're there at the circumcise me. Natuli na ako that time, so malaki na ako. Marunong na ako. Thank you very much for listening, especially those, as I said, the 1-4. The siblings of my IP3, the siblings of my IP2, and me also. I do this because I know soon you're gonna see this. Then this is a part of me, part of our histories in our family. Maybe I have a time to go home, maybe soon, I will tell you and I will show you where is the places that I'm telling you. I will try my best, and I have, because that's my challenge on me. I think I need to do that because sometimes I tell myself not to do that because it's hurting. But I have to tell. I have to do it. I have to face it for me to move on. Bye.